everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Naked Truth. I'm your host, Trisha Hershberger here in the buff, and it's colder out, and that's making this more difficult. Yes, I am sitting on a washcloth, so it's not that my seat is cold, it's that my hair is cold since I'm right out of the shower with no hairstyle and no makeup. But c'est la vie. That's how we do this. Hashtag Naked Army. Speaking of the Naked Army, thank you to everyone who sent in naked truths of their own last week. That's Pat, Chris, Jose, Lawrence, Prescott, and Kristen, Josh, Julia, and Jacob. You guys rock. If you want to check out their naked truths, you can do that in the description below. For this week, I wanted to go ahead and talk about flirting. And this was inspired by Heroic Punk on YouTube, who wrote to me and said, I'd love for you to discuss the prospect of approaching someone you find attractive and basically flirting with them. From what I understand, women still prefer to be the ones who are approached rather than the one who approaches, therefore making it the guy's job to initiate conversations and ask for dates and such. And I think this is a really outdated concept, especially with the rise in gender equality. If you're a shy guy, then you're much less likely to ever meet someone because girls don't typically, from what I've seen, approach a guy they find attractive. And I think that's completely unnecessary and doesn't make much sense in this day and age. So, Trisha, I'd appreciate hearing your thoughts on the subject. For example, have you ever approached a guy you found attractive? In public? How about online? Have you sent messages to guys on dating sites or attempted to stir conversation? So, yes, I know that's a lengthy topic discussion, but I wanted to fit it all in there so that I can address all parts of it. So the naked truth on how to flirt. Much like the naked truth on how to attract women, I think the overriding concept here is that everybody's completely different. So you just got to be yourself. And that's the big overarching, but we'll go into a little bit of the specifics and things that I personally like and I've done. So let me start off by saying that as far as women expect men to approach them, I think that both men and women would love to be approached because that's the easier part of that scenario, is to be the person on the receiving end of it. There's much less pressure at that point. So I say throw that out the door. I agree. It is an outdated concept, and especially with everyone touting gender equality, then it should be absolutely equal. Either men or women can be the one to approach, and either men or women can be the one approached. As far as have I ever approached guys, I was trying to think about it, and online, I certainly have approached guys that I found attractive that I wanted to start conversation with. And in person, that was a lot harder for me. I don't know if it's because as I got older and more confident in who I was just doing more online dating as opposed to when I was younger and actually like out at the bars and, meeting people in person. But my strategy was to always do the make eye contact for extra long, like for 1 millisecond too long, like to the point where they realize oh, we just made eye contact for an uncomfortable amount of time, and then wait for them to approach me. And I don't know if this is because culturally I have expectations that men will approach, or if I'm just too darn shy. But like I said, as I get older and more confident in myself, I was more of the approacher, but that was mostly online. And I did end up dating at least one of the people that I approached. So it worked out. It can certainly work out. So my advice on how to flirt, besides be yourself, is to take all the pressure off. Honestly, think about it like my sister told me a really good way to think about it. And she said, you're trying on different shoes. And if a shoe doesn't fit, if a particular shoe doesn't fit, that's okay. Move on to the next one. And when I started thinking of it less as a super high pressure situation and more of just a hey, I'm checking this out. We're checking this out together to see if it works. And then a flirting scenario in my mind became just hitting it off. Whether I'm hitting it off with someone that I'm attracted to or not attracted to, I began to see the similarities in those. So what I would say is take the pressure off yourself. Make it a more casual situation and make it about them. If you go into a situation thinking, wow, okay, I can see that I'm physically attracted to this person. Let's see if I'm mentally or otherwise attracted to them too. You're sussing them out just as much as they're sussing you out. Don't go into it like, oh, I have to impress them, which I think is a lot of our initial reaction. Instead, go into it like, hey, I'm going to have a conversation with this person and I'll come out of it either wanting to get to know them better or not. And they'll come out of it either wanting to get to know me better or not. And if no one wants to get to know each other better, then what? You've wasted a small 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes of your life. No big deal. And if nothing else, you got to know a new person. So I would say to take the pressure off of yourself, make it more about them than it is about you. I mean, you always hear when flirting, ask a lot of questions. It's very easy for someone to talk about themselves and talk about their own experiences. So maybe they're feeling nervous and you're helping to help them feel a little bit less nervous, and you're learning about them. So you can learn if this is really someone you want to get to know better or not. As far as do they like you, try to be open, but ultimately be yourself. I mean, if I was so self-conscious that a guy that I wanted to talk to at a bar or a random stranger wouldn't like the sound of my voice, and I, faked the sound of my voice so that they would like me, eventually they're going to realize that that's not really what my voice sounds like. Or if you say things that you think another person wants to hear, eventually the real you is going to come out, and then you'll have wasted both of your time if that's not the situation. So be yourself. We all have our charm, whether your charm is that you're the shy guy or the clumsy girl or whatever it is. There is a person out there who will find that charming. So just be you when you go into those situations. And like I said, you could be you, and both of you could go, thank you for the conversation, but I'm not really interested in pursuing this. Both of you could feel like that. So it's just a testing it out. It's just a seeing if the shoe fits. And if it doesn't, it's not a big deal. For me, my tips on what to do that work for me, I always appreciate it if I'm talking to someone and it's a very short conversation. I don't like when people come up to me, especially if I'm with my friends, in a bar, in a restaurant scenario, and want to talk to me for like a half hour or 45 minutes, especially if I'm politely trying to excuse myself, because I came here to be with my friends. And I think it also looks very one-track minded, and that feels a little much for me. So if you are in that situation, like if I was going to approach someone, I would try to make it short and sweet and then get out of Dodge and go back to my friends. A, your friends don't appreciate it when you blow them off all night. And B, it shows that you have your own life. You have your own things going on, and you're inviting that person to see if they would like to see more of said life. But it's not all about this pressure conversation, this one thing. So I would definitely say that. And also, if you're going to close the deal, as far as not close the deal like sleep with, I mean close the deal like ask for the phone number, I would always recommend asking for either Facebook, if you have like Bump on your phone or something like that, or just have them type their Facebook name into the phone, or make it part of conversation. Oh, I want to see that thing that you talked about, ha ha ha. Or email address. I think that connecting via Facebook and email address for a first time contact allows you to still keep an open relationship with that person where you're going to get to know them a little bit better, but it's not as much pressure as giving out a phone number. And I don't know why, but to me at least, giving out a phone number is a very personal thing. So I much prefer e-communication. And I know other people say, it's not cool to ask people out via Snapchat or Tinder or online dating or Facebook. I personally don't mind that. We're in a digital age, and I think that people communicate in a variety of different ways, and I would encourage you to communicate the way that you're most comfortable and can be the most yourself. So my question for you guys is, how do you flirt? How do you feel most confident when you're approaching someone that you're attracted to? Let me know in the comments section. Please make sure that that you check out other videos on this channel, or like this video if you like this video. I'm trying to do more things with this channel. I don't know if some of you have noticed, but I'm uploading gaming videos on Fridays from my Twitch stream that I'm doing at twitch.tv/Trisha Hershberger, but I'm trying to expand this channel. So talk about it, share it with your friends, make your own naked truths, but from the shoulders up only, please, and continue to suggest vlog topics that you like. I do have guests on here from time to time, so if you have a certain topic you'd like to see a guest with, make sure to suggest that as well. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I will see you next week.